Ladies and gentlemen, from the Microsoft Theater here in downtown Los Angeles, brought to you by Shawn Porter Promotions. That's all the time.
You sound like Sean yesterday. Tomorrow I was thinking about you guys. Hey, man, I was taught to be loyal to my friends.
We're lucky to have you, brother.
You was taught to be loyal to your friends?
Hey, if somebody did good by you, do good by them. That's what I was always taught. I got a dude who used to give me a ride to football practice.
Mm-hmm.
I'll forever be loyal to that guy.
You will forever be loyal to that
That's
guy.
my guy. We're like brothers.
That's how me and Dare started.
Hey, we're like brothers, and we'll always be like brothers.
That's how me and Dare started. He just drove me home from football practice one day.
Got closer and closer and closer.
It was like every day, and then, every
So
day.
you were friends with him or Carson first?
Dare. Yeah, I know Carson through Dare.
Got it.
Yeah.
Then Drew.
And then Drew actually came after Carson, even though Drew was older than Carson. So
What made Carson your guy? Let's start the show with this. What made Carson your guy?
wow, yeah. Welcome to the PorterWay Podcast, Mr. Two T's, Sean Z, Showtime.
Go Knicks.
Carson's a talker, right?
Yeah.
So then now, of course, naturally, he's a texter. So we would just text all the time. We still text all the time. We text music back and forth. My bad, Carson. I know I don't listen to a lot of the music he's saying nowadays. I'm busy, whatever the case may be, but that's really just how it just evolved, right? I would go to hang out with Dare, and Carson's there, right? Then they go off to college, and I would be at the apartment that they lived in, and Carson would be there. So I think I've told this story in the podcast before, and if I have, my apologies. That's my cookie too, by the way.
That is Zitel's cookie.
Cool. I got sour.
Because I knew he was gonna pull this. Okay, I knew he was gonna pull this.
So why you didn't bring me two?
Because you get one like everybody else, and then you decide if you like them. Then we decide if it's two.
I gotta be honest. I first asked Antt, "Is it a weed cookie?" So it's not. You can
I
have
said,
it.
"Look, there's one in Sean's chair." So
Why would you ask that?
They do look weedish.
Why do you think, Sean?
What's wrong with you?
Hey,
Go ahead.
Well, hey, listen real quick. So Carson,
So what's yours?
I was going to go to the Cleveland School of Ohio School of Broadcasting.
You was?
I was going to go to the Ohio School of Broadcasting. I turned pro, and boxing took me out of Ohio, and I just didn't have the time to go to the school. So Carson told me, hey, I'm going to Ohio School of Broadcasting. He dropped out of Kent State. He said, college ain't for me, but that's the way I want to go. I know what I want to do. And so I was like, wow, okay, he's doing what I wanted to do. And that kind of, gave him some cookie points or whatever the case may be, some brownie points.
Elevated him.
Elevated him a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, again, the long story short is we get out here, and he invites me onto his radio show that he was doing out here, and we're in studio. True story. And while we're in studio doing the show and everything, I looked at him and I'm like, I'm going to work with this dude someday. and it ended up being the PorterWay Podcast for some time. So
When you saw you was gonna work with me, you just decided to bring me on one day or something.
no, you have been doing the podcast with the football stuff.
I just had experience, so you just.
That's all it was.
That's crazy.
That's all
It's
it
crazy
was.
how they do you, man.
Everybody had,
That's crazy how they do you.
Hey, listen, you almost got bounced a couple of times.
Hey,
you know,
it is what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is doing business with me.
But you're still here, you know.
Hey, that's what it is doing business with me.
Did your woman tell you? I think you should study because I heard you might get bounced, or did you?
No. I got a successful business, so it is what it is. I come just chill with the guys.
Did you shout out your business yesterday?
Yeah. Shout out A+ Plumbing. Shout out to A+. Hey, you can do a plumber in Vegas. Hit me up.
Shout out to A+ Plumbing. They did not sponsor the event that we did yesterday.
Did not.
Thank you to everybody that watched the event we did yesterday. Listen, if you are a dad that wants to coach, if you are a kid that's boxing and you want to get better, if you are a coach watching this and you're looking for ways to improve your fighters and stuff like that, what we did yesterday was a one-on-one, in-depth boxing seminar. We went through everything that I did from the moment I started this thing to literally the moment I stopped. And even nowadays, when I do go to the gym, I still do a lot of what we did yesterday. So go on over to the YouTube when we're done with this, or Monday, Tuesday, when you're with your kids, whatever the case may be, and check out that episode. It's going to show you guys, how you can become a Showtime Shawn Porter, the fundamentals, the basics, and then we kind of moved on from there, and then we did the sparring.
And shout out to a sponsor, Generational Kitchen, Hawaiian food. They served us at the event yesterday. Food was amazing. Shout out to Enzo and his family at 6280 South Valley View, Las Vegas, Nevada. Check them out if you're in Las Vegas. Generational Kitchen, Hawaiian food. And then, hey man, Sean got text in a couple videos. I'm gonna shoot you one over real quick.
Oh, did you spar? Yeah,
I wish I had remembered that the camera was on, because there's things that I did that I would have been more conscious
17.
to.
He said only 17. He only 17.
the kid had a quick up jab.
You nice, huh? You nice.
Yeah.
You nice. You nice.
Nice. But you ain't record nobody else.
Yeah.
You ain't record nobody else.
Hey, I didn't even come to the ring.
That kid
It's
had
on
to
your
have some
page.
experience.
It's on your page.
Yeah, it was.
Go on over to Antt's page,
Yeah, I can
his
repost it
Instagram, and y'all can see some of the sparring. Go on over to the
kid had
episode, man. Check it
experience,
out.
right?
It was a good time.
No, that was the first time ever in the ring.
That kid, it was that kid's first time sparring.
Nah, shout out to Denton, man.
He only
Denton-
has about 30 fights, but he's better
That's a
than
lot,
the kid.
though.
He's better than the kid with 30 fights.
Very
He's
experienced.
better than the kid with
You
30.
say 30 fights like it's a little bit. You're
That's a
you're
little
nice,
bit,
but
man.
once you're around that, you're nice. You know what you're doing.
I guess so, huh? Because I'm
Yeah.
thinking 50.
Yeah.
I'm thinking once you get around 50.
I don't know. Denton, he has the it factor. Obviously plays football at Bishop Gorman. I don't think Denton knows how good Denton really is and really could be.
Mm-hmm.
Once Denton figures that out, 16, 17-year-old kid, you don't really get it. You hear, yeah. Once he realized I got that it factor, it's just like, you should see everybody in even boxers like, hey man, he's solid. He's good.
That's one of the perks of having your dad as a coach. Your dad can push you beyond where you're willing to stop. Coaches at football practice don't know how to do that. They can't see it. They don't know the DNA. You know what I mean? So that's one of the perks of having your dad
Or not
as
comfortable
as
doing
a
it
coach.
because it's not their kid.
Yeah,
they
that too.
don't-
Yeah.
How you feel?
Yeah.
But somebody told me this, even if I did coach my kids or anything like that, as a father, I can only take my kids so far until they need fresh years. Daddy years only last so long.
I would tell
Until the
anybody,
resistance starts.
don't matter what sport you're doing, if you go out of your community, that's where you start to grow. Once you get out of your community, you go into other communities.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go to other cities. Once you're in other cities and other states, you're growing even more. After that, it's the region. Once the region, it's the nation. That's how you improve. How does a coach get where he
Levels
got?
to this.
Yeah. How does a coach get where he got? I think the difference probably that coach, that's what he does, and the dad has the day job. May not have the time and things like that. But the same way a world-renowned coach, that a dad can have that same process. It's a matter of. This is what I say about dads. You have to be a born teacher. You can't think that this is something that you can just teach, something that you can just coach because you love it. You may love it, you may be able to do it yourself, but can you teach it? There's people that are born to teach. There are people that are born to do what they do, and I think that that's one of the big separations when you see father and sons. is that dad made to coach? Is that dad made to teach? You have to have it's a skill. And you can learn that skill, but I think that people are born to do what they do. And not all dads, even though they love this sport specifically, aren't built to teach it.
But the same thing I see what the other person was talking about. It came to a point in life when 16, 17, I'm just like, oh, my dad just talking. But if my uncle told me the same thing my dad said, I'm like, all right, I got you, yeah. But to me, my dad, that's all you say. You say this shit every day. Like, I'm not trying to hear this shit. You don't even play football. How you gonna tell me to get up and go run? My uncle, all right, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
You obviously became real successful with your dad, but it was at times that words fell on deaf ears.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It fell on deaf ears. Usually, it fell on deaf ears when I had a issue with my dad.
And your dad, would your dad? Because this is my dad. My dad and Sean dad always said just like, if my dad was my coach like Sean dad, the only thing that would annoy me is he wouldn't leave the shit at
home. And,
I don't want to hear about this shit all day long. So was that like that at home?
My dad's energy was like that. My dad, if something was wrong at
I remember
home,
this.
It was wrong. It was wrong the rest of the week. It was wrong. Something great had to happen to kind of erase that wrong, And I've been having this conversation a lot lately about forgiveness. That's one of those things when you don't have a forgiving heart, you don't grow away from what's going on. You know what I mean? So
your dad was looking to stomp out any potential little yellow flags, red flags. The way you do one thing is how you do everything. So your dad was probably, you didn't brush your teeth on time, and that now you're not going to spar well this week, and it's a trickle down effect.
I think I was 21 or 22 years old when he learned that expression. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. And being that young, hearing him say it, every time he said it, it didn't fall on deaf ears because I heard it. But I wasn't trying to accept it. You know what I mean? So it didn't really, really fall on deaf ears. But it was like,
we're not going to take it too literally.
Every time he said it, I'm like, oh, here we go.
And it's funny.
Here we go,
As all us being dads.
Now we get it.
Yeah.
Now we get it.
And then I know your dad hit you with, you ain't listening. Because you looking at me, bro, you ain't listening, bro. Come on. It's going to get worse for us.
It's a problem. I know. I think back on how much.
You got the oldest, huh?
Yeah, no, he does.
I didn't like being told I wasn't listening, right?
But so you weren't.
You say it enough times, and this didn't happen a lot, but you said enough times, and I stopped sparring. I am listening. Yeah. You ain't see what I just did? How is that? That's exactly what you told me to do. How am I not listening?
Sean, there were a few times I'd be in the gym when nobody was around, right? Not shooting, just there.
Yeah.
There's a few times you weren't listening.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's a good friend right there.
What did it look like? Did it look like what I thought?
It'd be little things. He'd say, like, now, I want you to pivot out to the left, take the angle, and then I want you to, when you get them on the ropes, I want you to turn them. I want you to take the angle.
That detail like that,
and you kind of just do what you were doing, not what he was asking.
Because it was working. Because it was good. It was good enough,
Hey, anyway. Kenny get in between you and the sparring partner. I've seen that before. Hey,
yeah,
Sean.
Do I need to kick everyone out the gym?
My dad. That was what my dad was known for. Have you seen any other coaches like get in the ring and do what my dad?
Maybe if it's their son.
Who? Like who?
I would see Bill do it with Devin
in
a lot more friendly manner. In a less drill sergeant and more collaborative. Kenny was, I want it like this and I want it done like this.
The separation between Bill and KP had so much experience that he knew exactly what it needed to look like. Bill knew versions of what he was asking for, and if Dev gave him a version of what he asked for, that's perfect.
Shit look good to me.
My dad don't want a version. My dad wants the complete up and down complete version of what he's asking for. So we got James on. All right, perfect. Listen, we killing a little bit of time. I'm excited about this guest that we got coming on. I'm especially excited for Mr. Zittel over here. I hope this thing really kind of becomes what I think it is going to be. So
that's his cousin?
No, he played
from Brooklyn.
He played the greatest Italian fighter of all time. Yeah, Willie Pep. So
From Brooklyn.
From Brooklyn.
So-
From
We got coming to the PorterWay Podcast. I'm going to do this for you real quick. There's a film that has just come out, The Featherweight, based on Willie Pep's career. Willie Pep, if you don't know, is the winningest professional boxer in history. Okay, 229 wins.
229, 11 and
Six-
1, 65 knockouts.
65 knockouts. Wow.
Two-time
229, 11
and
and
1.
1.
Yeah.
229.
At one
11,
point,
and
he
1.
was something like 130 and 1 in his prime.
Yeah.
So in his prime, 130 wins, 1 loss, something like that. Because, a
Wow.
lot of those losses, those 11 losses, like Ray Robinson, came late.
Yeah.
Late in their career.
Yeah. And I know we talked about some of this. We'll talk about it with James, too, because I really want his perspective. A big boxing fan, right? So I think for a big boxing fan to have the opportunity to do a boxing film, from my experience, has been whatever it is you're big about, passionate about, when you have an opportunity to portray that on film, a lot of actors look forward to opportunities like that. So we want to welcome to the PorterWay Podcast, fantastic actor, great friend of mine, James Madio. What's happening, Mr. Pep?
What's happening, gentlemen? Thank you so much for having me, man. It's exciting.
Are you still Willie, or you back to being James?
I'm back to being James. I have to be back to being James because I think my wife would rather me be James. But, it's taken a long time to get this film made, so all she's been hearing is Willie this and Willie that, and just trying to get his mannerisms and who he is. But yeah, I'm back to being James.
How long did it take for this film to get produced?
It took a while, man. I mean, we've had some ups and downs, lefts and rights, stop and goes. We had COVID. We had a union went on strike. We had big production. We had little production. We had different directors. But in short, man, Sean, I'd say 10, 12 years, man. No joke. When we first started this, I was in my early 30s. So we were thinking about doing this film and tracking Willie from his early 20s into like his 30s, into his 40s, and going through everything in his career. So it's 3-decade film. And there's only like 3 directors that can do films that take place over 3 decades. And that's like Spielberg, Coppola, and, who else? Lucas. Like, just the best can do that. No one was going to do a movie over 3 decades of Willie Pep with James Madio as the lead. So we sort of tailored it down to this faux doc independent style. It's like a new approach to the genre of boxing. And we fell upon this new approach, and it kind of just hit, man. It hit. We fell upon Willie, and this film falls upon Willie in 1965 in his comeback when he was broke. He's on his 4th wife, back living with his mom, was already retired, had no money, owed money to like the mob. His son was a drug addict. His father was passing away. And think of it as, let's say, ESPN in 1965 knocked on Willie Pep's door in Hartford, Connecticut, and said, "Hey, Willie, we want to do a story on you. Where are you now?" And Willie, being like lost or whatever, not knowing, just the cameras being on him again, the spotlight being on him again, was like, "Sure, man, follow me around." And then you realize he's down in the dumps and he wants to make a comeback. And in 1965, the New York Times top 10 human interest story was Willie Pep's comeback. So we started there, and we flashed back to his greatness, when he was younger, with some found footage and archive footage. It's pretty cool, man. It's a pretty cool approach. I think that's why some of the cinephiles and some of these major festivals have sort of responded to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna simply say this. You just described the film. I've seen quite a bit of footage from you. Based on what you described and what I've seen, this is a phenomenal film. I'm not just saying this because he's my friend. I'm not just saying this because this is Willie Pep. It's a phenomenal film. Like, as he was describing it, I was remembering what he showed me, and it's like in my heart. I remember this. It hits. This is one that hits.
Yeah, it's different, man. It's different. We're all proud of it. I'm proud of all the creatives. We had this great young director, Robert Kolodny. We had great producers, writers, cinematographers, and filmmaking is tough. You guys know what tough is. I mean, you're a world champion. You know what real tough is. Filmmaking and doing it for a career and stability and all that, it's really, really hard. And it takes like lightning in a bottle. Everybody in all their departments need to rise up and do what they got to do in order to hit this, and they did, man. I was well protected by everybody. I was trained by Scully and the guys at Cobra Gym out there in Hartford, and they tried to do their best for me to emulate Willie. No one could ever emulate Willie. I mean, if I could really do what Willie did, I'd quit acting and start fighting again. So not again. I mean, fight. But we had a good team of creatives around us, all young up and comers who were gifted. So yeah, man, really, really cool flick. Really cool flick.
How was the gym process? The sparring, the hitting the bags. How was that? Have you done that before?
How you doing? Bronx boy in the house, right?
Okay, yeah.
And he's got the right jersey on too, my man.
Oh yeah. Go Knicks, right?
Number one, bro. I was
right.
He's Brooklyn too.
Yeah.
He's Brooklyn too.
Yeah. So yeah.
Benson Heist.
The training was interesting because you learn as you go. And first, if I'm speaking to, I mean, you know what real training is, Shawn. So forgive me if this comes up like,
I'm the only one that know what real training.
So for years trying to get this made, I could only do what I could handle. This independent filmmaking. We didn't have the money to get the high-end trainers. We didn't have the money to put me into the gym. I didn't have a nutritionist. I didn't, have a trainer. I didn't have memberships. I didn't have any. I didn't have the equipment and all that shit. But so over 10 years, I did what I could control, which was road work, right?
Okay.
Skipping rope, hitting a speed bag. I did the heavy bag a little bit, but Willie wasn't a heavy bag guy unless he was trying combinations. And I did that repeatedly over the years. So when it came time to train, like really get in the trenches, and we had the budget to sort of pay somebody and put me in a certain hotel and pay for the training, I had like 6 weeks. I was already in shape, but I had 6 weeks to get to know the real physicality from it. So physically, I was ready. You know what it was more than anything, Shawn? I wish I'd known for 10 years that the key to me looking good on that screen, even though the speed bag looks good, the jump rope, all that looks fantastic, looks sexy and all that, I wish I would have sparred for 10 years.
Oh.
I realized once we got in those rings and we had a choreograph to fight in,
wow,
what was happening with me, and Willie's got that triple jab, he's got that side step, he's got that spin, he's got so many signature moves. We work on those signature moves. In a ring, when you're sparring and trying to be somebody else rather than what your instincts are telling you, difficult as hell, man, because I'm playing someone who's got signature moves. Me, you put me in a ring, I got that old school, I'll push up against the ropes and I'm Mexican style. I'm not you, Shawn, but I want to get in the mix. Willie's defense, triple jab deep, and it was wasn't characteristic of who I am. So I found that difficult. And I thought, and I said to myself, I should have been sparring like Willie for 10 years.
Wow.
Go ahead.
Man, well, James, como estai? Salud on the film, man. Watching the trailer, I could be pretty cynical these days. I kind of have that attitude towards Hollywood and the movies now, like Martin Scorsese. It's not what it was and all that kind of stuff. But immediately the trailer was gripping. Like you look like Willie Pep in the trailer. It just looks like a good movie. And a lot of these biographical films, they could be kind of formulaic. And this one just looks good. I'm gonna be watching it ASAP with my wife. So congrats on the movie first. But Shawn started the interview by asking you, are you James again or are you Willie? Do you do are you a method actor like De Niro and Pacino and those guys? And like Jack Nicholson told Heath Ledger, hey, don't play the Joker because you got to go to a certain place that's hard to come out of when you get ready for the role. Can you just kind of talk about that stuff, James?
Yeah, that's a good question. Because I was so close to Willie in a sense of who he was physically, and then you got his culture, the Italian-American culture, you got the East Coast vibe, and the stature vibe. Like I was picked on quite a bit. I had to fight in the streets. I was always throwing my hands with people picking on me and stuff. So Willie's background was that. He was that guy, and people took notice of him fighting on the street and threw him in a gym. And, as a kid, that's what happened to me. I went into a gym in Morris Park in the Bronx, New York, the Guardias gym. And but I was young, and I got my ass kicked immediately in there. And I came home, and my mother saw my face all swollen. And she said, you're going to look ugly your whole life, is what she said. and I stopped fighting. But as far as your question, because of everything I just said, I could lean in and gravitate a little more of a method for that specific role. Yeah, and for how long it took us to make this and to stop and go so many times, I didn't want to pull out of it. So on set, I stayed Willie. People decided to call me Willie. I didn't ask him to. We shot in Hartford, Connecticut, where Willie's from. So a lot of people knew him. We were in the social clubs that knew him. We were in the diners, the places he ate, the barber, the coffee shop. They all had Willie Pep stories, and they would look at me dressed up as Willie, and they would go, "Oh my God, you look like Willie," and they'd have a Willie story. And so you felt like you were Willie, and deep entrenched in who he was. So much so, and I know it sounds silly to people, is Willie was a guy. These boxers, their hands are always fresh and moving. They don't stop. They tap. They're always moving. It's just that they have to stay. And Willie was fidgety, man, always fidgety, and until he got older. But when I came home, we were finally wrapped. I went up to my wife and. I think it was like a day or two later, I was home after film, and I kind of just gave her like some little lovey jabs to the belly, and she was like, no, that's done. You're done with it. I was like, oh, shit. Sorry, babe. I was like, you're right. I'm sorry. So I'm not method, but that role put me into method because of the psychology of it all, I guess,
Yeah, it's just, I think it's hard. What I love about the movie being made is Rocky Marciano being 49-0 as a heavyweight champion, I think is looked upon as the greatest or the most beloved Italian fighter, Italian-American fighter.
Right.
But I think Willie Pep, without question, is the greatest
right.
Italian-American fighter.
Right.
The movie's called The Featherweight. I mean, he was voted at the end of the 20th century as the greatest featherweight in boxing history. And you're a boxing guy too, right, James? Like, what do you... Are you happy that Willie's getting some shine through this biographical film and beyond just your, typical biographical film? Why do you think it's important for people to check this movie out, especially boxing fans?
Yeah, right. That's a great question, and one that we all struggled with trying to get the movie made, which is people going, well, why Willie Pep? And ours is, look, it's the greatest story never told. Why, as every boxing aficionado, someone who knows boxing, ranked this guy in the top 5 of all time. Like you said earlier, 135-1. He won his first 65 fights and decided to, move up, and he lost the fight and came back down and won another 70-something. He broke his back in a plane crash when he was champion of the world. He turned down a $500,000 insurance policy at that time from Lou Viscusi, who had an insurance policy on him, and said, I'll fight again, and won another 100 fights. 6 wives, owed money to the mafia, hung out with like Babe Ruth and Jackie Gleason and all this stuff. And his story I just found remarkable. And why didn't I know about this guy shocked me. And then that's when I said the world needs to know about Willie Pep and who he is. And the background of Willie, right? Why was he forgotten this fighter? He didn't draw blood, man. People go to the fights for blood, and Willie says that in the movie. He says it right. He says, look, people go to the fights. They want to see the heavyweights. They want to see the blood. They want to see the knockouts. I didn't give him that. I would drag a guy 15 rounds if I knew he had to feed his family, because he'd get another fight because he went 15 rounds with the great Willie Pep. Why am I going to knock this guy down in 1 or 2 rounds? His career's done. He goes, I take him the distance so he gets another few fights to feed his family. Now, if you were a jerk in the ring, he'd light you up. Right? I mean, obviously. But, he met his match a few times. Sadler took him, Sadler beat him down a few times. Willie, I always thought was, because he was so great defensively. And, I think it was Bert Sugar who said, you couldn't hit him in the ass with a handful of rice. And Bert Sugar just loved him. Angelo Dundee loved him. Before Angelo passed away, I flew down to Tampa Bay to meet Angelo and talk to Angelo about him, because Angelo really, really adored him. But it's just who the guy was. I just found him fascinating. I found his background, his love interest, the fact that this man would married so many times to women that were 15, 20 years younger than him each time. And each time they took the house and took the money, and he had to restart again financially. It was just really fascinating to me, his whole story. So, we try and put all that in there, and his relationship with his father and his son the whole time. Yeah. So, I mean, that's in short, that's why I gravitated to him. I just felt like I needed to tell this man's story. My father, old school Italian American guy, boxing fan, he just called me one day and said, "Hey, Jim, look up this fighter," because we're both boxing fans. And I said, "Dad, look, man, I'm busy." He goes, "Just look him up." And I looked him up, and I said, "Oh, this guy looks like me a little bit when I was a little younger." And then I saw all this information on him, and I said, "I got to make this guy's movie." And that's when it all started.
Oh, man. I love it. James, we're going to show the trailer, the piece of the film real quick. Let's go ahead and show that. Hey.
Pep is in trouble, and so is his record of 73 wins in a row coming into this contest. Pep is down! Pep is down! Sadler has delivered the first knockdown of Pep's career.
Hey, congratulations. Finally, you've been knocked down. Welcome to the club. Didn't think it was never gonna happen. Kid's a good fighter. But don't forget you're the champ. Don't forget that, and don't you let him forget it either, all right? Come on. Show me Willie Pep. Come on, champ.
Fantastic, man. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Tell everybody what film awards, what festivals you guys were at and won, and tell everybody where they can catch this film at, please.
Yeah, so we were fortunate, extremely fortunate, and all pleased that we had a world premiere at Venice Film Festival. So you can imagine, for a small independent American film, that it's incredibly difficult to even get acknowledged by them. So to go there and premiere there worldwide was an honor for us. Tribeca Films picked it up, and we just distributed on Amazon, Apple, Fandango, Google Play, everywhere pretty much. You can find the film. And then obviously once the video on demand, which is sort of the pay or play, is done, it'll probably get its run on a Netflix or Hulu as well in months later, after it does its run. But yeah, it's doing very, very well right now. We've gotten great reviews from the New Yorker, from Variety, the Hollywood Reporter. So we're all incredibly happy where we are and what we've accomplished. We didn't think we'd come this far, but as Willie Pep always said, man, you gotta keep punching. That's all he said. Keep punching, keep punching, keep punching.
Well, James, thank you for joining the PorterWay Podcast. Again, the film is the Featherweight. Before you go, this is what I tell everybody, and I've been started with these guys, but anybody that I've told that you were coming on this show, which has been quite a few people, I say your name. I say, "Hey, you familiar with James Madio?" They say no. I say, "You know him, you just don't know you know him." Yeah. And then everybody says, well, how do I know? I said, "You seen the movie Hook, right?" I said, "Yeah." Well, he was one of the Lost Boys in the Hook film. So, real quick before you go, you got any amazing one or two amazing stories about Robin Williams, working with the great Robin Williams?
Robin, that was my first film I had ever done, and first time I've ever been on a set and understanding the protocol, the chain of command, who's who. I'm a street kid from the Bronx playing a lost boy, which is exactly what Steven was looking for.
Yeah.
And so, you couldn't get any better. And that's when you had spiked hair, I had the rat tail, lines in my head. I was a street kid, the overalls with the one strap down, with the red Reebok, causing trouble on the streets. And I remember showing up to set, and just the way he corralled all these lost boys as like the wonderful, crazy, fun uncle. And he'd keep you engaged and fun. And then the minute it got real, he was able to kind of go, "Okay, here's what we do, guys." So he was just that really cool, gifted uncle. He made things a lot of fun, but then he also taught you and educated you. And, I took a real liking to him. He took a liking to me. He'd call me he'd be like, "Hey, my Bronx boy, my Bronx lost boy." He would tell me all the time. Yeah. And then one time, I'll never forget, it was a crane shot, Shawn. The big crane came down. It's when the cranes were old and big, and the crane comes down after he said cut, and Robin went underneath it. The crane cracks him right on the top of his head, split him right away, like blood. Right in the thing. Everybody, "Oh my God, the lead is cut. The lead is, cut." They put a thing over his head, drag him out. And we were like, okay. They send us to the schoolhouse, to go get, we had to do school on set. And we go to the schoolhouse, and we're all like worried about him. At the same time, I'm thinking the day's over. Like, we're going to, we're going to go home now. Like, Robin's done for the day. And Robin knows what a day on a set like that in 1991 on a Spielberg set would cost if it gets nixed. Like, it's millions.
Wow.
He came back to set.
Wow.
He was patched up with like, maybe like 10, 12 stitches. They covered it up with his hair. And he came back like an hour or two later and like nothing happened.
Dang.
Put up back to set working and had his wits about him, was funny still, like nothing happened. I was like, whoop.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, listen, we thank you for joining the PorterWay Podcast. Hopefully we can get you out here on the couch with us sometime soon and talk some more boxing. But we got to let you go because we got to get to some other good stuff.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you guys for having me, man. Appreciate you all, man.
Thank you, James. Thanks,
Bless,
James.
man.
Congrats on the film.
All right, fella.
Looking forward to seeing
Stay blessed.
that. Looking forward to seeing that. Hey, you've caught the trailer for it. And
Oh yeah, it was really good.
it looks like
good.
And I think it's perfect for Willie Pep. It's an independent film, so that the cameras and things like that are used are they're high level, they're high quality, but the shots are independent shots. They're gritty, and it's good. I think it's really good for Willie Pep. So
it still has good production value though, despite being
absolutely.
Indie.
And it tucks into that time frame.
Yeah, and it fits the time frame. There it is.
So he mentioned Angelo Dundee. Remember, Angelo worked Muhammad Ali's corner and Sugar Ray Leonard. He used to have them watch Willie Pep because that was Angelo's favorite fighter. And then, actually, it's funny, Willie was the only fighter in boxing history, the story goes, to win a round without throwing a punch.
Yeah.
But Canelo actually won a round recently without landing a punch. So, against William Skull. So, Canelo joined. They're two of the best defensive fighters ever,
Canelo is?
It felt
Canelo's
you had that in the tuck, but I don't think you did.
Kind of did.
Canelo got defense?
Yeah, for sure. Especially when you're talking front foot guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's got great head movement.
Absolutely.
Better have that on September 13th when he gets stopped.
Well, he's getting older now.
No excuses. Floyd was older.
Floyd's Floyd.
Hey, y'all know I just finally watched Friday night. I finally watched Manny Floyd.
What'd you think?
Time ever.
First time ever?
First time ever.
Oh,
you know what that fight was, as the kids say now? I actually usually I hate on new slang, but mid. It's very mid.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't bad as everyone say, but it was definitely wasn't good.
Mid.
Yeah, I haven't heard that before.
Yeah, no, he did catch Floyd a couple times.
Twice in the fourth and the sixth round, he hurt him with the left hand. A counter too.
Yeah,
a counter. And
Floyd definitely is levels to this, but yeah.
That fight would have been more explosive 5-6 years previous to it. I think Floyd still wins, but
no matter what era.
I came up with this crazy analogy, and I don't know if I can do it here because it may not come off the same. But we were talking about, I can hear my voice again.
That's good. Just go though. If you're a professional just handle
Robin
the
Williams
situation.
did it with his head split open,
so. You over complaining. I seen you do an interview with a headband in your eye.
Man, couldn't even see.
Get on, baby.
I was talking to somebody about Manny coming back fighting Mario Barrios.
Ouch.
And this was the analogy I gave. I don't think I can do it here, but imagine there's a line. Hopefully. Imagine there's a line. Hey, give me the wide. I'll do it with the wide. Imagine there's a line right there in front of your foot, right? Mm-hmm. When you're young, you get there and you get back. You get there and you get back. You can literally see that line. You get there, you get back, right? But as you get a little bit older, it slows down. Mentally, psychologically, you don't feel it. Your timing, it slows down. That's time. Time slows you down. And so, to me, I think Manny has to come out very strong, very fast in the first couple of rounds because his gas tank ain't what it used to be. At 48 years old now, or 46 years old now, what?
Come out hot? Fucking around out of gas.
At 40,
and get stopped.
But think about it. At 46 years old, you come out, and let's just say hypothetically, your gas is half full at 46 years old. I'd rather try to use that half tank
when I got
and,
something
and 2 or 3 rounds.
Yeah.
And really get off on this kid because he has the kind of style. Styles make fights. He's got the perfect style for Manny to do what he do. But the further that fight goes, the more that's gonna go down. He ain't young no more when it does this. It ain't gonna do this no more. It ain't gonna go down and then come back up. He not gonna create space, take a deep breath, and that thing shoot up the way it used to. He ain't gonna do that. You know what I mean? So.
And if you hurt a fighter early, Shawn, you could compromise his legs the rest of the night, right?
Exactly.
So if he hurts Barrios early, he could take something out of him from the get-go.
He's so goddamn strong though.
Barrios
big 147 guy.
How you know he's strong?
I've seen him compared to you. He's bigger than you. Remember that day he was sitting in the corner. You said, "Name Mario Barrios." Mario Barrios.
Yeah, that's
that
true.
Was disrespectful.
That's true.
That was disrespectful. Shawn just thought you was a fan sitting in the corner one day. Yeah, I ain't saying he can beat you, but I think the kid's gonna be a lot for Manny.
Yeah.
I just hopefully this might end the way we thought Tyson Paul was gonna end. I think Manny probably gets stopped.
We're talking Paul
You think Manny might get stopped, huh?
Yeah, I think Manny. Just the age is on his side, man. The youth with the young kid.
I like the experience. The last thing to go is the power.
I mean, did you see him in his exhibition fight?
Nah, well, I mean, that was an exhibition fight.
I mean, I seen even with Ugas was rolling, but Ugas, he looked bad against Ugas, but shout out to Ugas. Ugas
he looked terrible against Ugas.
Okay, relax, okay.
He looked
after
terrible.
the 7th round.
Yeah.
Through 7, he was actually ahead on a point on the broadcast.
Shout out to Ugas, best fight he ever had.
Yeah.
Best fight he ever had.
Yeah, he showed up.
That Ugas could have beat me. Yeah.
That was opportunity.
He wasn't that Ugas against me.
I think it was the same.
And he beat you. That's crazy.
Nah.
I actually thought Shawn won that fight. I really do.
100% won that fight.
Co-sign me for the bullshit.
Everyone always thinks I'm lying when I say that.
No, I won that fight.
I think you did.
Nah, I'm giving you the win. I don't know fuck what they say. But
no, but live,
face
I thought.
To face, you lost. Okay?
At the StubHub, I thought you lost. At the StubHub, I thought you lost.
Yeah.
Then I watched it on TV again.
Back, I'm like, all right.
Hey, mute Zittel.
I did.
I didn't know you was going there. Mute him.
Hey.
Damn.
I watched it a few more times. I did think you won. So hey.
Hey, Timothy Bradley is my guy. I've shouted out his podcast or his network, his YouTube show.
1 second. Do you have? So you got Manny winning?
Yes.
You got Manny winning?
No, against Barrios.
Yeah.
No, I think every great fighter got one great fight left in him. That had to be Thurman and Manny. I think Manny seems to want to. Manny appears to be like how Bernard and Roy were. Like he's really one of those great old school fighters where you gotta he's gotta go out on his shield.
Yeah.
Going out on your shield used to not mean just in any given fight. It used to mean that's how they went out, period, fighters. And Manny's like that.
I do not want to
see. It's really hard to see Manny Pacquiao losing to Mario Barrios because of who they are. But who they are now, you know?
Shawn, I do not want to see like Manny on the knee, mouthpiece out. That's going to hurt me.
Kevin
bro.
McBride, Mike
That's
Tyson.
That's going to hurt me. That's going to hurt.
Oh, so I gotta. There's this great quote. I was gonna save this one closer to Pacquiao Barrios, but
okay.
I'm gonna say it again. But I'll say it now. No, I'm gonna say it.
I retell stories all the time.
I'm gonna bring it up again closer to the fight, but
not on purpose.
Here we go.
It's funny because Jerry Eisenberg is a boxing Hall of Famer. Jerry Eisenberg was on all the HBO legendary nights. He's a legendary writer in boxing, still alive too, and about 90-something years old. Just dropped a book. Anyway. I remember sitting with Jerry Eisenberg when Pacquiao fought Jesse Vargas, and a lot of similarities between Jesse Vargas and Mario Barrios, and Pacquiao Vargas having one of his best rounds in the 5th round, and I like Jesse, so I'm going, oh, Jesse's doing his thing, and he goes, you got a long way to go, kid. It's only 5th round. Next round, Pacquiao starts lighting him up, and I go, damn, Pacquiao's having a good round, and then Jerry lowers his glasses and looks at me. And he goes, he's having a great round. Not a good round. He's having a great round. The next round, Pacquiao drops Vargas. So Eisenberg tells me, he goes, you got to appreciate what you're seeing, kid, because you don't know how much more Manny's got left in him like this.
Yeah.
And he goes, one thing about great fighters, they're going to look great in the gym until they're 60, 70 years old. Mm-hmm. You could get a great fighter in the gym, he's still going to look good. Mm-hmm. He says the age shows up on fight night.
Yeah.
And he said, Sonny Liston, the night he lost to Ali, all of a sudden I looked at him in the corner, he looked like he was 55 years old, just like that. Mm-hmm. So with Pacquiao, I say this because I, like everybody else, sees the clips of Pacquiao coming out the last couple of days, and he looks good. He looks really good. He looks like he might be able to do this thing at 46. So I remind you guys of the quote Jerry Eisenberg told me that night, they're always going to look good in the gym. It's on fight night when they get old.
Hey, that's a great quote.
Why?
From a great man.
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
Yeah, why are they able to look great in the gym
No.
forever?
Why are we getting this fight? Why is Manny coming back?
That's
Why?
the real question.
Why? You gain nothing off of beating this guy.
Do we need to ask why?
I will.
You can go around that.
That's kind of my, I will, unfortunately.
I
but,
just want to know. You gain nothing off fighting this guy. Shout out to Mario Bird. No disrespect. I mean, you get his belt. Your legacy is cemented.
Well, we just talked to James, who played Pep, right? Willie. Yes. Why did Willie come back in 1965?
Yeah. Well, he was faced with
I'm not saying that's why.
Yeah. I'm trying. I don't know. Speak on by.
This is why great fighters used to say. Well, when you used to ask why is Ali still? Why is Joe Louis still? Why? Usually the answer wasn't.
And why wouldn't he go after like a Paul? Does he even make sense for a Paul?
I mean,
Jake Paul?
Yeah.
He's so much bigger. Yeah. I mean, but Floyd fought Logan.
But he was gonna fight Tank, but Tank is so much big of a star.
These conversations are unfortunate.
I feel like I jumped in the conversation with my dad and my uncle. All right, I'll let it go.
Hey, shout out to my boy Timothy Bradley. Like I said, he's got his YouTube channel. Y'all make sure to check him out on YouTube. Timothy Bradley, simple like that. The
best.
I personally, what'd you say?
The best.
I personally think that dude is one of the best personalities in boxing right now that can articulate what's going on. A little different from me. He ain't afraid to say the truth. I'm going to crip work my way around that joint. He gonna say what it need to be said. So I want you guys to check out this post that he put up on Instagram, and then we'll talk about it.
Bruce Ennis better leave Teofimo Lopez alone. He better leave him alone. I'm telling y'all. Yes, leave that boy alone. He a real one. I know what all that racist rant and stuff like that. Hey, that's one thing. When I'm talking about boxing, that's what I'm talking about. And I'm here to tell y'all.
Always.
He got what it takes to beat Bruce Ennis. Man, the two most athletic fighters in the game. Damn, if they was to go head to head. Woo-wee. Yeah, Bruce got all the attributes. He got the height, he got the long arms. But you know who got the better timing? That's Teofimo Lopez. You know who's athletic? Who was the last athletic guy that Bruce fought? Karen? Karen was the last one? Yeah. And don't think that Bruce gonna be able to out-punch him. Don't think that. No, he not. Because you go back, you watch that Claggett fight. That boy Teofimo Lopez, he got some lungs too. When he full-fledged and hungry, he got lungs too. He threw almost 1,000 punches in that fight.
All right, let's cut it.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was this long.
No one's seen this whole thing.
Yeah, let's cut it.
Oh, you did?
600.
I'm like you, so I'm like, damn, we keep going.
I didn't know it was that long.
Yeah.
I saw that, right? And when I read it, I thought, you don't know if y'all know this, but I got a little dyslexia over here. So I kept thinking I was reading it backwards. And so I clicked on it, and he said it. And I was like, oh, he actually thinks that Teofimo Lopez can beat Bruce Ennis. I don't see that.
Because I think Tim's main point was the timing. That they're both guys who are going to trust their hand speed in the exchanges. They both are really good counterpunchers. I think Tim thinks Teo will find the mark. He'll find the right shot in the exchange. Just timing, because they're both fast and athletic. I disagree. Tim and Shawn are my two boxing OGs.
Give it to him. You give it to me. Give it to him.
No,
Tim. No. Go ahead and say it.
We texted about.
You texted him about it?
I did.
I did too.
So.
And what's his number? I want to text him too.
What would you tell him, Antt? Go ahead, Antt. How would you?
Everybody else text him. I want to text him.
I'll go second. Let me hear what Antt would say.
Good fight. Boring fight.
No!
I don't know if that might be a good fight.
Don't do that.
I don't know if that's a good fight.
Hey, listen.
I don't know if that's a good fight.
I'm going to give you a lesson on live in color right here, right now. Never say something that's going to be boring.
Why?
Because the moment you say it's going to be boring is the moment people don't buy it, is the moment people stop tuning in. So
not our problem.
You can't give people a reason not to tune in.
Shout out to Turkey. He the one paying.
Hey, listen, and y'all see me over here.
That's our prerogative.
I be BSing my ass off.
You heard me, Sean?
Hey, Styles makes fights.
You think it's gonna be? Nah,
I don't know about that fight. I mean,
I don't agree that it would be boring, but I agree with his right to say that it would be boring.
yeah, I don't know. Experience-wise, I think T.O. got a shot. Just natural talent, raw, got it all. Come on. But he got a shot. I'm giving him a shot.
Yeah.
50-50.
You can give him a shot. You can give him a shot.
50-50. I'm going 50-50.
Is it 50-50?
50-50.
It's 50-50?
Get out of here.
50-50.
It's not 50-50.
What you got?
I got Boots, but
what's the percentage? 70-30?
Yeah, like 80-20, 75-25.
Damn. I was hoping
he went up there.
Yeah.
Just experience.
If T.O. did this would be something special. You know? And I do.
He's that motherfucker that do special stuff when we expect him not to do it.
70-30.
But I expected him to beat Loma and Josh Taylor. I don't expect him to beat Ennis.
Yeah. You expected him to beat Loma back in the day.
I expected him to beat Loma.
Yeah, it was on the PorterWay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, but
well, hey, man, I just want to give my boy some love. That's my guy. I did text him about it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So my take on it. So remember, we've always heard a good big man beats a good smaller man. Mm-hmm. Allow me to do a more long-winded version of it.
Okay.
A good, really talented. That's enough. I can do it in 90 seconds. But a good, really talented, really flashy, really saucy, athletic big man beats a really good, athletic, saucy, flashy, talented smaller man. Yeah, that would be the case because they're both. Like Tim said, they're two of the most athletic fighters in the game. Two of the funnest guys to watch from a visual standpoint. They're flashy with their skills, and also two flawed fighters. Two fighters that sometimes break the rules, and more times than not, they make it work for them. Sometimes it's just breaking the rules, and it's a flaw on their end. But look, T.O.'s power hasn't really. Been devastating at 140. I think he's only stopped Pedro Campa. Claggett went the distance. Barboza went the distance. Taylor, who he hit with everything and was probably a little weight drained, still went the distance. T.O. can punch, but if he's not stopping guys, even if he times Boots right, like Tim's saying, he's not getting Boots out of there. And then Boots is the kind of guy you could hit flush on the chin, knock his head around, and then he still punctuates the exchange anyways and hurts you. So I think Boots wins. Yeah, I want to see the Norman fight.
Yeah, I'm about to say. So, what does that path take Boots? For get undisputed, let's go after this money. I mean, I know Turkey making people forget about their dreams when they throw that dollar sign in front. Yeah. And they're throwing that dollar sign in front of you, pissing Shawn Zittel off.
No, it's a good. I'm down.
He just was like,
yeah, I never seen him do that. So
no, but I'm down to see the super lightweight champ fight the welterweight champ. That always works.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
Down.
Yeah.
This fight gets made.
Probably not.
That was that was the only thing I wanted to talk
about. Why we talking about this?
Probably not.
Don't do that. Don't make me. Please edit that out. Gosh. This is a terrible day.
How long have we talked about blah, 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 blah about this fight, blah, blah, blah about this match? I mean, they happen like 15% of the time, Hafey, you would say? All right, yeah.
And that bigger man,
I ain't
smaller.
telling you when we record next week.
Bigger man, smaller man thing, that worked against everybody except like Crawford and Floyd.
Yeah.
Well, I like the fight.
Might happen.
I like the fight. I think that Norman they're really gonna try to force their hand to make that fight, which they should, which probably will happen, should happen anyway.
Hold on, I seen Brian Norman, I think, on Sean Zittel page.
He refuted the sparring.
Capping. He capping. Shout out boy. He was
JYD.
Shout out my boy JYD. He was on Sean Zittel's page. Lying. I know a lie when I see a lie. Hey, shout out to Brian Norman though. Yeah, they don't want that smoke, Sean. They don't want that smoke.
There's someone, maybe it was in my comments, someone offered up, maybe the body shot was a low blow. I don't know.
But they did. It was on Sean Zittel's channel saying it did not happen.
Yeah.
And if it did happen, it was in sparring. So that sparring in practice, I think he said something like that.
Yeah, he went Allen Iverson because we're talking about practice.
Yeah, we're not talking about.
Did he hit you with that?
Pretty much.
Yeah. That's nice.
And then his manager jumped in. So
I just wanted to give my boy Bradley some love, man. That's my guy. I love his stuff. I love his energy. So y'all make sure y'all tune into his stuff, follow him, and subscribe to all his channels, all that good stuff. I think that fight gets made. I think that fight gets made next year.
Boots gonna stay at 147 for that?
Yes.
Yeah.
He trusts his methods now, so there's that.
I think for Boots, it's just let's see the Norman fight. I know he won't. What happened?
I think it's now or never.
Oh, for Teo, the Teo fight? Yeah, because how long can Boots stick around 47?
Yeah.
How long will somebody be in boxing? This thing's starting to come. This thing's coming to an end. I'm just.
He said, "How long?" Somebody.
We'll see.
Somebody that
I got a 2 or 3 year window, maybe. All right, let's go. Don't do that. Don't feed off that.
Tank versus Roach 2. When is that happening? When is that happening? When is Tank versus Roach 2 happening?
August 16th, allegedly.
August?
Yeah, August.
What about Paul versus Chavez Jr.?
August,
June
June?
June or July?
Is it June? Is it Ryan? What date are they doing that fight?
It's June.
June 28th.
In Anaheim.
See?
Okay.
June in Anaheim.
There you go.
Holla at me. I'm available.
No. So I watched some tape on this morning since it was on our because it's on our
June
agenda.
28th. You watched tape on Chavez?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
And I went. Shout out to Tim again because Tim watches more tape than me even, and I should be ashamed. Tim did it for a living and still watches more tape than me. But between Tim, Shawn, and Antt, my boxing opinions are on point. But I went ahead and watched this tape on this. So again, I'll say it again because I said it after they fought. What was it in November? Jake Paul did not carry Mike Tyson. He didn't carry him. Go back and watch the highlights of the fight. Round 1 starts. Jake is up on his bike because Tyson, even at 58, for a round or so, is dangerous.
Yeah.
And so he's on his bike. Round 3, guys can go back and watch the highlights. He opens up, taking a couple steps back, and chucks his right hand the way he chucks it when he knocked out Tyron Woodley, the way he chucks it when he knocked out Ben Askren. He chucks that Jake Paul right hand, and with the intention to knock Mike Tyson out. He hits Tyson on the top of the head, and Tyson loses a little balance, and so the fight keeps going on. There's other parts in the fight where Jake is letting go of his 2s and his 3s, and he's letting them go. Mm-hmm. He's letting them go like he would against anybody else. Mm-hmm. And I said after the fight, the reason people, Jake carried him, that was classy of Jake. That was great of Jake. No, Jake knew if he gave up his range and tried to run 3 or 4 at a time, it gave Tyson that one reflexive shot he could still get off that hook. And in round 5, because I got to have the receipts or else people think I'm making it up.
Here you go.
In round 5, when Jake is running his combination, he's landing 2, he tries to double up the hook, and Tyson instinctually, like Rolly against Ryan, boom, he lets go of the hook. And Jake, it catches his chin because his chin's in the air. And Jake at that moment decides, let's
stay safe.
Let's stay safe because I could win the fight easy, and he does. So Jake Paul did not carry Mike Tyson.
And let me cut in because for those people that think that Mike was holding back because he signed something that said he couldn't clock Jake. And you ever been in a car where when the engine got overheated and the engine started to shake?
Yeah.
That's how our bodies are. I promise y'all. I know I've used the analogy of a car so many times. I felt that myself. So I was young when I felt this. Not being in the gym, doing whatever it was I wanted to do, and then came to the gym to spar one day, and I'm hot. My core is hot. My throat is hot. I can't breathe. When you see Mike biting on his gloves, he's hurting, y'all. He was hurting. That wasn't him biting on his gloves through frustration. The frustration of not being able to do what he wanted to do. My man's engine was running hot.
It's like running a mile the first time after not running forever.
But they did it. They got it done. I think it was something that apparently they both wanted to do, needed to do.
Made a lot of money off of.
Yeah.
Did it help boxing? I hope that it did. I hope that Jake does more for the sport opposed to the eyes continuing to talk about him. Jake, do me a favor, big dog. Try to get people to talk about boxing, not talk about you in boxing. That would be a blessing to the sport that you in now, big dog. I think that that's your responsibility. Your responsibility should be to make people talk about not just you. They know you. Make them talk about this sport. You know it's a lot of great guys in this sport, a lot of great talented fighters in this sport. Get people talking about these other guys just as much as they talking about you. They deserve it. They just don't have what you have. If you got it, go ahead and pay that forward. You've paid the women. You got the women doing their thing. We got
I would salute that.
Yeah, we got an MVP promotions with the women's boxing. There's a whole entire card dedicated to the women. I love it. Taylor Serrano 3?
Yeah.
God dog. We could get 5 of them. They all gonna look the same.
Yeah.
You know? But Jake, man, I appreciate what you've done so far. I want you to take another step. Talk about boxing. Don't just talk about yourself. That would be a tremendous give back to something that's lacking in this sport.
Zittel. Fight breakdown. How's it ends? Who wins? What round?
Which one? Paul Chavez?
Jake Paul by decision.
I got Jake Paul.
You remember him quitting?
I got Jake Paul by KO.
It could happen. This dude. I don't trust that guy. I don't trust Chavez.
Yeah.
You're nothing like your daddy.
Yo, you just alienated. You say, I don't trust that guy.
I don't. It's like, bro, I don't trust you, man. We seen too much of that quitting.
He's got the quirky, the ugly stuff that'll get you by.
Chavez?
Yeah.
He still has a left hook for 2 rounds.
You said 2 rounds?
Yeah,
That's it?
It's fresh for 2 rounds. After that, the problem with Chavez Jr., if Chavez Jr. just showed up and let his balls hang and committed to it and just let his hands go, but even at his best, he didn't let his hands go a whole lot. But if he did, he could win this fight. Yeah. But he won't. That's not who he is. He has no confidence anymore. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. The minute he also loses so much steam after 2 rounds. He's kind of like Mike Tyson in a lot of ways. He loses steam after a round and a half. He has a left hook that you still have to it keeps you honest. You do have to worry about that left hook, especially early. Yeah. But like he just has no confidence anymore. The minute things start going south, the minute he gets touched, he just
looking for out.
Even if he's not, I think in this fight he'll like Zab Judah used to do sometimes. He'll take his beating, but he won't let his hands go. And
I'm gonna speak a truth. I think this is my truth, and I'm just speaking candidly. You got a kid that's spoiled, and you tell everybody to go on a 3-mile run. If that kid don't want to do the 3-mile run, and he don't have to do the 3-mile run, he's gonna stop at 1. What's gonna make him push through 2? What's gonna make him go to 3?
I feel like this is something you saw in person in LA when you were at the wild card with
No,
Chavez
I'm just speaking on I know his gas. He doesn't have a gas tank.
Yeah.
That means that you're not working in training, out of the gym stuff. Yes, I saw the in-gym stuff and it was you scratch your head like that was it for the day.
Well, I heard it was notorious. Like the Benavides, Jose, David, they would all. So many people that were in that gym in the wild card in those days, it was like a well-known thing about his dedication or lack thereof. So you saw it up close.
Yeah. I mean, there were days he came into the
over
gym.
under an hour.
No. I'm talking 20.
No, Sean. No.
Funny you said over or under an hour because I promise you, I'm not. One day he came into the gym. He might have. He shadow boxed. I don't know if he made it through a round on the bag and he just packed up and left.
They said no mames.
Where did he have to go? Where was it going?
Man, maybe he was at the wrong gym and realized that could have been. And went to another gym.
Oh man said 15 minutes.
Yeah, I've seen some short stuff. I don't want to disrespect, but I've seen some short stuff that make you scratch your head. And the real fighter, but the other fighters like laughing like, that was it.
When he walks out,
like hold on, that was why did he show up? Like that was it. He coming back, right?
So y'all knew what was coming.
Yeah.
The people that was y'all was like, this is.
I don't mean disrespect. I don't want to call him.
No, despite that, the dude still was like 49-0 at one point. Won the WBC title at middleweight.
That's how the game goes.
Yeah. Bullshitting.
He knocked out Andy Lee.
Yeah, he did. He did. That was his claim to fame right there.
Yeah.
Because Andy was
legit.
Yeah, and doing his thing as a coach now too.
Damn.
He's a coach now too. So June 28th in Anaheim. Zordo is on the undercard, huh?
Yep. Against Torticos.
Is that kid Cuban?
Remember he knocked out Tabiti?
Yes, sir. That's who knocked out Tabiti. Yeah. Wow. What do you think about that fight?
Torticos and Zurdo?
Yeah.
I think Zurdo wins.
You think Zurdo outboxes him?
Yes. Yeah.
Zurdo's
I don't think Zurdo beats Jai Opetaia. I'm hoping David Benavidez doesn't move up to fight him.
Pacquiao?
No, Zurdo. Benavidez will beat Zurdo at cruiserweight, I think. I just think if you go all the way up there, we're never going to see you at light heavyweight fight Bivol. Or yeah. So, yeah, I'm hoping Benavidez, as he kind of has to sit on the sidelines with the light heavyweight title.
I don't think he goes back down to 68, but you don't think he'll go up to cruiser and come back down
I don't
to
want to
light?
see him do it because if you beat Zurdo, it's a nice win, but Zurdo's not the best cruiserweight. Opetaia is. And now you're not going to go back down 25 pounds to fight for the light heavyweight title. So
That's where the money at, though.
Cruiserweight?
I mean, talking about, no, he need to go 160.
Yeah. Well, Canelo said this week that fight will never happen. Canelo finally just said it once and for all. It'll never happen.
Wow.
Man.
Did he say why?
Why do I have to give him 25 pounds? He was disrespectful. Crybaby shit. To be honest. By the great Canelo Alvarez. The great Canelo Alvarez.
What does he mean by why does he have to give him 25 pounds?
He's saying when they rehydrate, that he's giving up 25 pounds to Benavidez.
He's talking?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me tell something to Canelo fans.
Go ahead. Do your thing.
I have an upsetting message for Canelo
he
fans.
pissed.
I'm just saying. I've said it. I've spoke the truth, and now I just let everything play out. Like I feel good about it. But Canelo, his fans enabled this situation. They felt so threatened by Benavidez that they downplayed him, called him a bunch of names, discredited him, so that Canelo can be enabled to do what he wants. Canelo earned the right to do what he has to do. Again, it doesn't work like that in any other sport. Tom Brady still has to play Mahomes. LeBron still has to play Anthony Edwards and get bounced in the first round. Get your old ass out the first round then if you're not that guy no more.
Yeah.
The game waits for nobody. But they love Canelo. They love Canelo. They love Canelo. And this goes for Crawford's fans too. This goes for any fans that their fandom grows to a toxic point where they enable bad behavior for the sport, right? So because you enabled Canelo so much, if and maybe when he loses to Terrence Crawford in September, you'll regret that you enabled that. Because if you would have just let Canelo lose to the bigger, younger Mexican fighter, then now you'd have a new Gallo to get behind, a new fighting rooster to get behind. Okay, once you lick your wounds, that hurts, my favorite fighter lost. When you get over it, now you wave the red flag. Now you got Benavidez to root for the next couple of years. If and maybe when he loses to a 37, 38-year-old former lightweight, you're going to wish that loss would have came against a bigger, younger guy. So
don't get smoked. Don't get smoked.
Nasty.
Yeah.
Nasty. Yeah.
Actually,
and moral of all that is don't get smoked.
Yeah, don't get smoked. Like, this dude's nuts. I feel it's worse losing to Crawford than it is to Benavidez, where you could have.
If you lose to Benavidez, you did the right thing. Hey, I handed the torch. I gave the young guy a shot. I gave him I'm a true warrior. I fight anybody. You lose Crawford, it's like that was a cash grab you went for because you didn't want to fight Benavidez. And for I to a lesser degree, because the Boots fight was never as demanded as the Canelo Benavidez fight. I feel the same way with Crawford and Boots.
Yeah, you said that too.
Yeah, well, it's funny that. This is uncomfortable for me to speak on because here I am. But I'm going to say.
Don't do uncomfortable things.
So just don't.
Hey, everything you want is on the other side of uncomfortable.
I don't want. So
go get it.
This fight, one thing I see in my comments is the race wars. This fight, it gets certain black fans and Mexican fans to go at each other because it's not an organic fight. So that's one of the main selling points that people are really going to latch onto is my guy, our guy against your guy. And it's like they both could have gave a shot to the younger
Derek, our guy.
And that's what would have set up the future of each group better, Could have. You get the point. It's
he's
real.
talking about the damn cooking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, back. I'm listening, bro. Keep going. You're cooking right now. He's cooking right now.
It's instead of having this race war over these boxers you will never meet that don't know you. Well, why not realize they both?
Why you doing like that, man?
Why not realize they both bypassed the young? Sean will, yes, but they both bypassed the young Mexican and black fighter that earned their shot to fight for the undisputed titles. that they, so that they could cash grab with each other. Anyway, have at it. September 13th, don't miss it.
Will you be there? You talking all this shit? Will you be there?
I won't be in Saudi because I thought the fight was going to be in Las Vegas.
Oh, damn, I ain't realized
Someone
I ain't realized the shot. Sean, I ain't realized what I did.
Be cool. Motivational message.
Oh, we out of here.
Somebody asked me how I was doing. I said, I'm keeping my head above water. I'm 6 feet tall. And that's my motivation to you guys. You guys may be going through things. You may have your feet in the water. Control the water. Don't let the water control you. Stand tall, stand strong, and whatever you do, don't submerge yourself in the water. This is the PorterWay.
Stay blessed.
I had to keep it all the way real.